MrBeast has had so many allegations come out over the last couple of months which have completely destroyed his reputation, from Dogpack404 making 3 videos at the time of this recording alleging all sorts of things, from hiding PDF files in his company, Ava Chris Tyson drama, Lunchley drama, Jake the Viking drama, and so much more. There is just so much to unpack, and still to this day MrBeast hasn't responded to any of it. So today I thought, why not have a long video that explains everything in detail in chronological order, starting with Dogpack404's first video on YouTube. MrBeast honestly might have just ruined his entire career. Now, there was a video released about a week ago which is just casually sitting at around 4.5 million views and counting. Wouldn't be surprised if this gets about 10 million in the coming weeks. But essentially, this is a former MrBeast employee who saw some stuff and has come forward to expose him. Now, you should all be aware about what's happened over the last few weeks, and let's just say, like, it has not been a good week for MrBeast at all. Firstly, Chris Tyson, his former childhood best friend, has been exposed for talking to minors and being into lollipop art. Then there was a Discord server leaked with both Chris Tyson and MrBeast in it, with the messages from that Discord server being extremely suspect and just straight up weird. Now to top this all off, we've got "I worked for MrBeast, he's a fraud" sitting at about 5 million views. Seriously bro, like, where does this all end for Jimmy? I'm honestly kind of shocked that he hasn't been cancelled yet. And to be honest with you, I don't even think that this is the final straw. There's probably going to be a ton more update videos soon, and I'll be right here on this channel to cover it. So anyways, let's start with this video. So Dogpack404 made this video, and it's the only one on his channel, pretty much alleging that MrBeast is a fraud, that he fakes all of his videos, that his giveaways are fake, that his merch lotteries are fake, and that Feastables is a scam. There is just so much to unpack in this video, so let's just start with this right now. The first point this guy makes is that Jimmy fakes his videos.
Also, if what we had to film was scripted, you know, because what we do is non-scripted, so you have to plan for a bunch of variables that you can't control, blah, blah. If what we did was scripted, holy shit, this stuff would be easy to pump out.
Have you ever faked a video?
No.
But this train track is CGI, these bus wheels are CGI, this explosion is fake, this shredder is CGI, this car is digitally lifted, this pit is fake, this guy is fake, this raccoon is a paid actor, this island costs more than $1, this city is not abandoned, these buildings are CGI, but it's not your only way out. You can literally get an Uber to the airport for $20. That's not a lurker. It's just a guy. This whole room is fake. This contestant is an actor and a secret employee at MrBeast. They had him dive through this fake door twice. This line is scripted. This action is scripted. In fact, pretty much all the videos with Mac are scripted.
You did it! Yeah! What we did was scripted. Holy shit, this stuff would be easy to pump out.
Yeah, so that was just a montage of every little thing Jimmy has apparently faked as of recently. In terms of Mac, who is the most recent contestant in MrBeast videos, I've kind of known that he's been on Airac's channel for a while now, so it honestly didn't surprise me to see him on MrBeast, and I already knew who he was. I'm not sure if I'm the only one when MrBeast constantly kept saying that Mac was a random subscriber. Kind of thought in the back of my mind, well, I mean, yeah, he's obviously not a random subscriber. I know who Mac is, you guys know who Mac is, and he's clearly now a part of the MrBeast crew. So I mean, as much as he definitely isn't a random subscriber, I'm sure everyone already knew that. What probably isn't so obvious, and something that's pretty damning for MrBeast, is that Mac is apparently being told what to do in these challenges to make everything seem cool and intense, like stalling out to the last second to make it seem cool or whatever, when, you know, it's clearly scripted. I mean, firstly, these are allegations, by the way. I just want to get that out of the way right now. Nothing is completely proven. This is just some random employee coming forward with this. However, I don't think I'm the only one that thought that all of this was real when first watching it. Call me dumb, but I truly believed Jimmy when he said that everything is 100% real and, you know, unscripted. I mean, the problem here isn't that Jimmy is faking the videos. I mean, that's completely fine. Traditional media does that all the time. He's not really in the wrong for that. But the problem is, don't go on to podcast after podcast and interview after interview acting like everything is real when it's just not. Because that not only ruins the viewer experience, but I'm pretty sure there's legal grey areas you can get into with that. And at that point, you're literally just lying to your viewers, you know, the people that made you famous. And as we all know, right, MrBeast has a history and reputation of being extremely trustworthy, hence why he has just reached 300 million subscribers. But it's like, if he's gonna sit here and lie about something as simple as faking and scripting a storyline in challenge videos to the last second, then what else is he lying about? That's the problem here, is that if he's gonna lie about one thing, what is he also gonna lie about? So, let's find out. Apparently apparently MrBeast doesn't only fake videos with Mac, but apparently his own challenge videos are fake as well.
During this time-lapse on the 4th day of 7 days stranded at sea, you can clearly see there's no one in the shelter. These are their empty beds. But after a hard cut, magically 5 people are awake, and 2 of the boys have bright yellow raincoats that they didn't have when it rained on day 2.
And after standing the whole night, completely soaked.
You didn't spend the night soaked, Jimmy. You slept on the production yacht. It's ironic because this is one of the videos where they claim that they don't fake things.
But no, we have to be the real channel that doesn't fake things.
In this video, this wink was added in post. In fact, 58 was actually on the far opposite side of the room from 42, and he just didn't hear him. This whole revenge storyline was added in post. Multiple shots show how timers are edited in post. Timers are edited in post. Timers are edited in post. They also manipulated contestants' audio in post.
We got 15 minutes.
In general, if anything happens last second, it's fake. Or if you can hear someone's voice but can't see their mouth, the audio could easily be added in post.
I literally think I'm gonna kill you.
And yes, this lie detector video was also fake.
Have you ever faked a video?
No.
Take that lie.
Now look, in terms of all the CGI and extra audio post-production stuff, I personally think that that's okay. It doesn't really damage the storyline of the video and whatnot. I do understand that you need extra things as a YouTuber and, you know, a filmmaker to make your video better. But the problems start to arise though when your entire storyline starts to become fabricated. Like if you're telling people to say certain things or not staying in the raft in the middle of the ocean when you're supposed to be during the middle of the night, then obviously that's messed up. And again, this is normally okay in traditional media, right? And it would be okay if Jimmy would sit here and admit that this was just a skit for entertainment, but it's not, bro. Jimmy has said that this stuff is real, so if it isn't real, then we 100% have an issue here. You can't go around saying that things are real when they're just not. Like, that is lying.
I mean, it's not like he's ever rigged the results of a challenge. That would be impossible because he films with hundreds of random subscribers, right? Wrong. Let's look at this video. Not only were the results of this video completely scripted, but the contestants are not random subscribers.
So many people had jobs.
Oh, that contestant had to get out for her job? I guess you forgot she's your hiring manager. I actually recognize a lot of people in this video, including Jimmy's own girlfriend. So yeah, the random subscribers you see in challenges are actually never random. They're almost always local to MrBeast and oftentimes friends and family of MrBeast employees or just the employees themselves. And when they do pull someone from outside of North Carolina, it's usually somebody who's in the industry, who's camera trained, who has built a following. And what's even worse is that the results of this video were completely scripted. According to a former MrBeast employee, it would have been a PR problem if the boys had won by a lot. And because so many of the female contestants were MrBeast employees who got out immediately, production stepped in to actually make the results of the challenge closer. You can actually see some of this happen on camera, like when Jimmy pays one of the boys $10,000 to leave, which is twice as much as the actual prize money. But doesn't make the same offer to the girls.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the stuff in this video right now is kind of stuff that in the back of my mind I kind of half to realize while watching MrBeast videos, but I just never really fully clocked it until now. Like every video where MrBeast has a ton of contestants, do you really think that if you just subscribe to MrBeast's channel, that he's randomly just gonna find you in his subscriber list and just fly you out from wherever you are in the world? That's not how this works, bro. Obviously it's not. It's extremely hard to just find people that subscribe to you, that are not only good on camera, but also speak English and, you know, have good background checks. Like, it's so much work to find random subscribers. It's just so much easier for MrBeast to find people locally that, you know, are good on camera, can speak English, all that. So you don't have to buy plane tickets across the planet, do extra background checks, blah, blah, blah. Pretty much what this guy's alleging right now is that MrBeast is just taking shortcuts on his channel, making things a lot easier for himself. Which again, I mean, is okay. I'm not bagging him for doing that, but like, just don't say that this is all real if it's clearly not. Don't say that you're bringing out random subscribers if you're not bringing out random subscribers. Don't say that the videos are real and they're unscripted if they're scripted. And also again, with the whole MrBeast girlfriend being in the 100 boys, 100 girls video, this is common knowledge that this is something that MrBeast actually said himself. He actually said that his girlfriend had to fill in for a video once, so I mean, we can't really bag Jimmy for that. That's one good thing that Jimmy's done. He's already admitted that his girlfriend sometimes appears in these videos. But now again, the biggest thing that there's an issue with is that the story storylines are being fabricated. I mean, you can add people saying certain things here, a little bit of CGI there, scripting points here, but scripting storylines and having the actual base of your videos be fake while claiming that it's all real is the problem here. And I and a lot of people are gonna have an issue with this. Because I mean, let's say that out of the 200 people in this boys vs girls video, 75% of the people are just local people that MrBeast specifically hired for the video, versus 25% actual random subscribers. Imagine after sitting in a box for 3 to 4 days, right, just realizing after that it was all rigged from the start and you never had a chance to win. That's pretty scummy in my opinion, and again, he should be admitting that. And the major problem with all this doesn't just end at this being ethically questionable. Some of this crap starts to become borderline illegal. I mean, in traditional media, lying about something being real definitely wouldn't fly, but apparently because we're on YouTube, there's loopholes or whatever, and apparently it's okay. I mean, so far, if this is all true, Jimmy is pretty cooked, not only legally, but, you know, ethically. I don't think people are gonna be happy with this, because no one can watch a MrBeast video after this and truly enjoy it, knowing that he's lying about all this stuff, saying that it's real when it's clearly not real. He's pretty much made a brand at this point out of supposedly having everything be real. He's gone on podcasts all the time saying, you know, all my videos are real and, you know, it's unscripted. So it would be so disappointing to a lot of people if this all turned out to be fake, which it really does seem like it is. Now this next part of this video, this guy's pretty much talking about apparently MrBeast's real-time 10-minute video where a guy tries to get through some 5-story building in 10 minutes and the video is supposed to be in real time. Yeah, well apparently that's fake as well. Now I'll be honest, a lot of people once this video came out pretty much said, yeah, you know, MrBeast videos are probably staged at this point. That was probably the video where people started to realize, okay, this is probably starting to get scripted. However, me, honestly, I kind of naively thought at the time that this was real, but here's what this guy has to say about it.
This is a real-time video, meaning that time elapses the same in the video as it does in real life. Now immediately the intro is sped up, and the timer is clearly added in post, and he clearly touches the laser here, but whatever, let's assume that it's all real time. When he reaches the bottom floor, he has to turn these water valves. Now you can tell that these valves aren't actually connected to anything because the water flows out in an instant, and it happens when he's not even touching the valve. The contestant also goes back to the first valve unaware that anything had happened, and he's still able to spin it. So the valve seems to spin freely and isn't actually connected to the flow of water. So you could assume that producers might be off camera with remote switches to trigger the flow of water. And assuming they've tested this, the producers might know how long it takes for the water to clear out of the room, so they could sort of decide on the fly how many turns of the valve it takes, or just when to trigger the water in general to make the results close. And in this video, spoiler alert, the contestant wins the money, so rigging the challenge could be seen as a good thing, but there are many examples of contestants losing. And in traditional media, this kind of rigging is actually completely illegal.
We always have the same person tie all the knots so that we know they've tied them at the exact same tension. I mean, we get down to inches. And then we have a standards and practices person. And if you don't know what that is, on any kind of a game show where there is a prize, you have to have somebody that ensures that it's fair. They are out there essentially to make sure that we don't do something that would favor one player or one tribe.
I paid the one guy who knew how to solve them to leave.
In my mind, I'm thinking it's a fair game. But it's not.
Yeah, so look, this is a real grey area about all this. Let's step aside from the fact that MrBeast rigging game shows and favouring contestants and faking videos is ethically bad for just a second. Let's talk about the legality of all of this. I mean, we just saw that podcast clip that, you know, most reality TV shows have regulations in place to make sure that everything's fair. MrBeast obviously doesn't have that. I mean, he's literally just a regular YouTuber. But at this point, I mean, he really isn't just a regular YouTuber. He's a mega superstar who gets 250 million views per video. This is someone sitting on a monopoly here. But you know, he can just hide behind the YouTuber excuse, and that's why this guy's getting away with it. It's technically not a game show, so he doesn't need regulation, and he doesn't need people sitting there making sure everything's fair. But now again, going back to the ethics behind all of this, just because something technically is legal doesn't make it right, obviously. Like, it's scummy that you're scripting videos without telling your audience that that's what you're doing. And I mean, again, he's made a brand pretty much out of this, claiming that everything is real, and you know, he's harping on and scolding people that don't believe him or disagree that it's real. So for all this to come out now is just pretty crazy to me. Now this next thing that this guy alleges is that MrBeast merch live stream that he did a few years ago, where apparently if you bought some MrBeast merch that he'd sign every single piece on his own. Apparently there was like 60,000 shirts and hoodies that he was supposedly, you know, signing every single one. Apparently, bro, that's all a complete lie as well.
For those of you who are just joining, if you buy one of our limited edition 40 mil special shirts, we're celebrating 40 million subscribers with a really big video, then we will sign that shirt, and some of them will get random prizes like this. In 10 minutes, right, because we gotta give them time to do their cart, we'll give 2 orders $500 each. 5 minutes, someone's getting $3 grand in their order. In 5 minutes, we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna put $1,000 in a random order. 2 minutes, newest order gets $2,000. Good luck, everybody.
So pretty much what's happening here is that, you know, this is apparently illegal. For a lottery or giveaway to be legal, you know, you see down here only 2 of these boxes can be checked. So if all 3 of the boxes are checked, then technically speaking, this is illegal.
This was a 6-hour live stream. They took it down off YouTube, but 5 hours of it are still up on their Facebook page. And during those 5 hours, I counted 46 illegal lotteries. These lotteries are also run poorly. Multiple times they would say something like, buy in the next 5 minutes for a chance to win. And then 7 minutes later go, actually, the newest order in 30 seconds is gonna win.
In 5 minutes, we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna put $1,000 in a random order. Hey, Daryl, don't we owe someone $1,000?
We do.
Yeah, so, all right, so the newest order, in 30 seconds, we are gonna put $1,000 in your package.
Stephen K.
Okay?
And there is no second giveaway 30 seconds later, like Jimmy said. This is just one very shady giveaway. They just go on to talk about how Steven made a profit.
Steven's a handsome man.
So he actually walked away with some money.
We're proud of you, Steven.
I counted 13 of these extra shady lotteries where they did not give the prize in the original time frame that they said. In 5 hours, they gave away about $50,000 worth of stuff and sold over 50,000 t-shirts. Selling these t-shirts at $42 each, profit margin would be about $22. But even if they were making like $1 per shirt, they would still be fine. Also, by my estimates, only 1 in every 1,600 orders actually won a prize. And I guarantee he has real-time analytics on his laptop. He knows they make more money every time he says, oh my God, guys, we're giving away so much stuff. We're not even gonna make a profit.
Yeah, so this is actually pretty damning evidence here. When all this was going on, when this live stream was happening, I was just still a kid. I didn't end up buying any MrBeast merch, but all throughout my childhood, I've kind of been under the impression that Jimmy just doesn't make that much money because he just gives it all away and, you know, he does all these live streams where he's being generous. I've kind of just been under the impression that he's just such a nice guy and he's doing all these nice things. But I mean, as we've seen so far, it turns out that he's just profiting massively from this, and you know, him saying, oh guys, we're not even gonna break even on this stream is just a massive lie. Much like everything else we've seen so far, to be honest with you. And it's not even to the point that it's the lie anymore that's the problem. I mean, like you guys just saw, this is very closely tiptoeing the line of being illegal. I mean, if you're gonna lie about faking videos, right, that's one thing. If you're gonna lie about, you know, saying you're getting random subscribers out in your videos and, you know, you're not scripting videos, then that's whatever. It's unethical, right? It's really scummy, but it's fine. But when you start lying about lotteries and giveaways, bro, that's when you go past the Twitter mob. You're going past the Twitter mob having a go at you, bro. It's the federal court that's gonna have a go at you at this point. When you start messing around with the legality of things, that's when you get really screwed over. And to be honest, if all of this video turns out to be true, I seriously couldn't care less what happens to Jimmy. Because you gotta think about this right now, bro. He's getting little kids to probably use their parents' credit cards to buy Jimmy's merch, most of which hopefully is with their permission, but you know, in order to hopefully get an iPhone or $1,000 in the package. But apparently it turns out only 1 in 1,600 people get a prize, and you know, they're profiting so much more than that. It's really just scummy, and also at the end of the day, again, borderline illegal.
It does say this limited tee signed by MrBeast and crew, but the description says it's signed by a member of the MrBeast crew. And it doesn't say anywhere that other members will sign MB, deceiving people into believing it was signed by MrBeast. So here's a clip of Tyler using MrBeast's signature. So Tyler signs MB, which is MrBeast's signature. Then he covers it, signs his own initials, TC, smirks, looks around, and then quickly slides the shirt away. Could you make it any more obvious? You know, you don't accidentally have someone else's signature as muscle memory. And again, I'm not a lawyer, I think this is fraud. Maybe they could say it's the brand's signature, even though it's clearly implied that this is Jimmy's signature, which was established during the last live stream.
Hey! MB, MrBeast. So this is MrBeast's signature.
No way, this one was signed by MrBeast. It's just got the MB, but that means it's signed by MrBeast. That's obviously his, MrBeast. This is so cool. That's obviously his.
Yeah, so that's some pretty bad stuff right there. I mean, again, it's one thing to fake videos, but faking signatures now? I mean, that's outrageous, bro. And like this guy said, this could be a company signature, but I mean, the whole point of people buying the merch during the live stream was so that MrBeast would sign it himself, and that the MB signature would be from him. So if you say you're gonna do something, ethically and legally, you've gotta follow through with it. So to see vision like this, where Tyler is secretly doing one of the signatures, it kind of just makes you think, like, how many of the signatures that are MrBeast, like, aren't actually MrBeast doing it? It just kind of makes you think. But anyway, now we move on to Feastables. You know, the chocolate bar that was been released all over the globe that is supposed to be made from only 5 ingredients and is healthier for you than most other chocolate bars out there. Well, apparently he's just flip-flopped that around completely and has just sold out by making Feastable bars complete garbage.
It's interesting to look back at this because a large part of Feastable's marketing campaign was the fact that it's a better for you brand, that it's healthier for you than Hershey's. Less sugar, only 4 ingredients, all organic.
I wanted to just make a better for you snack brand because I think a lot of the stuff out there is just terrible for you.
Because obviously so much obesity and disease comes from the stuff we eat. Like Hershey's, for example, there's 10 ingredients, super processed. Our Feastables bars are 5 ingredients, and just all the ingredients are way higher quality. And it's infinitely better than the other options out there.
Now in 2024, MrBeast changed the formula again to where it has mostly the same ingredients as Hershey's and even more sugar and more calories per bar. And this initial ad for Feastables where he calls it healthy is still getting millions of views a month. Also, I don't think you should ever advertise it as over $1 million in prizes when more than a third of those prizes are just coupons for more MrBeast products, forcing you to spend more money if you actually want to redeem them.
Yeah, so this is where things start to get really bad. I mean, bro, you've advertised something as being healthy and better for you and, oh, it's just so nice, we're making things healthy. And then you just sneakily make it complete crap? I mean, to be honest with you, everyone knows that chocolate is bad for you, right? But when you sit there advertising as something as healthy just to then make it worse than Hershey's, adding 30 grams of sugar per bar, which is just insane, by the way. These are not big chocolate bars by any means, so that is a lot of sugar. Then it's just disgusting, bro, and you should absolutely be called out for it. I mean, I'll be honest here, if all this stuff comes out to be true, it's almost like this is the downfall of MrBeast. This is pretty crazy stuff, and this video that we're watching is only getting bigger and bigger. Like, this situation is not slowing down anytime soon, and to be honest, like I said before, I wouldn't be surprised if more comes out about this. Now, there was another MrBeast employee called Chucky that apparently made this huge tweet defending MrBeast, so let's see how he apparently debunks this whole video. So this is Chucky here saying, I quickly want to debunk some info in this video since the guy who made this was on my team. It was my decision to fire him for erratic behavior. He worked at the company for less than a month and wasn't an employee for most of the videos he mentions to have knowledge on. There's so much in this video and I want to specifically address him saying our videos are faked or staged because this is not true and I was on the set for many of these videos. Quote, you won't get in a video unless you're family or friends with someone that works at Beast. This is a wild statement that can easily be proven wrong. There is probably hundreds of thousands of people who have no affiliation or friends or family of MrBeast. Think the 456 people in Squid Game or ages 1 to 100, etc. Jimmy doesn't know like more than half a dozen people, lol. I mean, I don't know if that's really debunking anything. You kind of just, at this point, it's kind of just he said, she said. You're not really proving anything. Quote, the train track was CGI, the bus wheels are CGI, the pit is fake. He acts like he's exposing us for using CGI to make backgrounds look cool when we've done multiple public behind the scenes videos with So Crispy showing this. It's clearly not a secret. On top of that, we did not drive buses into that pit in the same with the train as you claim we didn't. Okay, yeah, I guess that's a fair enough point. Quote, the raccoon was a paid actor. I don't even know what to say about this. Clearly not an actor, lol. Yeah, I mean, I kind of didn't really, I didn't really think that the raccoon was going to be an actor. I don't know what that point was. Quote, Island cost more than $1. Not true, we did pay $1 for the island. You can Google MrBeast purchases Outer Banks Island for $1, which stated in this video was released. Quote, he moved into a mansion 2 months before being in a video, talking about Mac. $1 million mansion. He talks about how 2 months before we filmed the first video with Mac that he moved into a mansion. Mac was staying at a friend's house, and I'm not sure how that proves anything or why it's relevant. I mean, I don't know how this thing right here proves that anything's relevant either. I mean, you didn't really prove that the whole Mac situation wasn't faked. But anyway, moving on, this wink was added in post. Bruh, he really did a wink. That is a flat out lie again. Quote, the revenge storyline was added in post. He implies that 42 and 58 was scripted and not real. The contestants themselves have talked about this on streams after they did the video. They legit did not like each other. He also claimed 58 was on the far opposite side and didn't hear him. Just because he was on the other side of the room, you don't think 58 heard him at all. How on earth would he know? Quote, not only were the results of the video completely scripted, but the contestants are not random subscribers. He claims our 100 boys vs 100 girls video is scripted, and the proof is random text saying that it is. That's it. It was not scripted. Jimmy probably had countless people on set for that video, and it would have been impossible to hide. The video was not scripted. I was on set for this, and there was no bias for who won. I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, there was literally vision of Jimmy, you know, like paying people to leave and whatever and do all this sort of stuff. It clearly was biased towards the girl's side, and I mean, anyone who watched that video can know that. I actually don't know how it's taken so long for people to figure out that whole video was clearly biased towards the girls. The employees in the video were there to fill in for people who tested positive for COVID last minute right before filming. Thea, Jimmy's girlfriend, mentioned this on a podcast, and you know, I already mentioned this before, so I'm gonna skip past that. He also suggested that the real-time video was fake. This is not fake. It was a nightmare to make, and this was legit filmed in 10 minutes. Well, I mean, again, you're not really proving anything wrong. You're kind of just denying that this all happened. Quote, also, I think some of MrBeast's giveaways are fake. We do not fake giveaways. I've been hands-on with some of them, and have personally been the person to connect winners with accounting department to get paid. You also suggested that we didn't spend $1 million on Samsung phones, and I can assure you we did. Another lie from you. I could keep going on, but I don't want this to be too long. Dawson himself said on Reddit that he was on shrooms and weed when filming this video, which might explain some of the made-up stuff. Dawson was only employed from March 25th and was let go on April 19th, 2024. He was on a 90-day trial, and we ended it early, paying him out for June 25th, as we guarantee the 90 days of pay so we could transition into a new job. I'd appreciate it if everyone reading this could help dispel all these fake rumors by spreading this info. I mean, look, I don't know about this tweet, to be honest with you. I mean, like, there really isn't any evidence in here. It's kind of just this guy saying, you know, this whole video is a lie. It's really hard to prove whether or not Dogpack in his video is lying, or whether this guy in the tweet is telling the truth or lying. You know, it is really difficult, but I'm kind of under the impression that MrBeast is faking a lot of this stuff. I can't lie. And again, these are all allegations, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. Alright, so MrBeast is now sending cease and desist letters to people who are pretty rightfully outraged at what's been going on this week. And as well as that, we have new allegations coming from a huge YouTuber about the new Amazon show Beast Games run by MrBeast. And these allegations are pretty damning and definitely gonna hurt MrBeast if they don't get addressed very quickly. For those that need context and have literally been living in like an alternate universe for the last couple weeks, because this is pretty huge at the moment, MrBeast has probably just had the worst week PR-wise I think we've ever seen on the internet. To start it out, his co-host and childhood best friend just got exposed for being a PDF file. Then it was alleged that MrBeast apparently knew that his friend Chris was being a PDF file in a Discord server and did nothing about it, essentially neglecting the whole situation. Then this huge video came out by Dogpack404 alleging that MrBeast has been running illegal lotteries, faking his videos, rigging challenges, and so much more, with feastables and whatnot. But now we move on to another huge story, and that is that he or his team are now sending out cease and desist letters. Dogpack404, which is the creator of this huge video we talked about the other day, tweeted this out recently. Cease and desist response and update thread, and pretty much made this 2-minute and 30-second video. I can't play the whole thing because it's got copyright music, but I'll play the start of it. So pretty much we can see here, this is the cease and desist. Dear Mr. Dogpack404, you know, say to blah blah blah, you know, he had to blur all this out because it's probably got private information. Represents your former employer, MrBeast YouTube. I am writing to you regarding your recent troubling conduct following your involuntary termination from employment with the company on April 19th, 2024. Specifically, it has come to our attention that you have been disclosing sensitive, confidential, and I can't really say that word, information regarding the company's business operations and content creation methodology. So pretty much what MrBeast or MrBeast team is saying here is that this guy Dogpack is disclosing confidential information, things that he shouldn't be saying, which, I mean, I don't really think that anything in that video was really breaching anything. I'm not sure about that. All he really did was just expose the fact that you're faking your videos pretty much, allegedly, and that you're doing a whole bunch of stuff. I don't really think that he did anything that should be getting cease and desist letters for. So yeah, this is a pretty bad look on MrBeast's part, as if, you know, the company hadn't already been in so much strife this week in the first place. This whole cease and desist thing just took things to a whole new level.
So MrBeast's legal team did send me a cease and desist, and here's my official response to that.
Okay, Jesus Christ, MrBeast hiding PDF files at his company. So pretty much it's literally just 2.5 minutes of like a whole bunch of memes. I mean, you guys can go find this on Twitter if you want, but I can't play it obviously because of copyright music. But it's probably the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And like we said before, this is a thread and there's a whole bunch of extra updates in this thing, so we're gonna go through them now. Some updates. I was originally going to expose MrBeast's philanthropy efforts for being more aiding private interests and boosting MrBeast's image rather than actually doing any good, but then in that investigation I came across something far more interesting that no one else has ever found. Part 2 will be far more damaging to MrBeast's career than part 1. Okay, so we're getting a part 2 of this whole MrBeast, you know, is a fraud sort of thing. I seriously cannot wait for that. Honestly, like, I'm not praying for MrBeast's downfall. I don't hope this is all true. I mean, who the hell on YouTube wants the biggest YouTuber to be a scammer and like someone who fakes these videos? No one wants that, obviously. But if it's true, I mean, like, I don't really care what happens to bro, to be honest. As far as MrBeast's largest fundraiser, Team C's, it's pretty well known that it had no statistically significant impact on the ocean pollution. I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like we all kind of knew that. I don't think 30 million pounds of you know, taking that out of the ocean is going to really do much in the grand scheme of things. I mean, bro, you got to think about it, right? The ocean is huge. It takes up 75% of the Earth. We don't even know, like, the half of what's going on here on planet Earth, like, scientifically. So I honestly don't think that it's that bad that MrBeast couldn't make a huge impact on the oceans. I feel like that was kind of common knowledge. Still, people will say, oh, well, that's better than nothing, which, I mean, it is. This is a drastic oversimplification that doesn't factor in the time, money, and effort and carbon costs associated with raising the money and removing the trash. Also, where did the trash go? Landfills, where over time it will break down into microplastics that will blow back into the ocean, or recycling plants, DYOR, on why recycling is a lie. Team C's also prompted the false narrative that plastic pollution is a problem and solvable by people. Okay, so some interesting stuff there. In this interview with Marques Brownlee, MrBeast even acknowledges that it was not actually the impact of removing 30 million pounds of trash, but Team C's frequently advertised as a way to save the ocean. Look, I mean, I'll be honest here, I feel like this whole Team C's thing is a little bit of a reach so far. I mean, like, obviously no one thought that removing 30 pounds of trash from the ocean was gonna make a huge impact on the Earth. Like, do you know how hard it is to make significant changes on Earth? I mean, like, again, 30 million pounds of trash seems like a lot, but it really isn't that much. I feel like we all knew that at the time. I think this is old news. This video was uploaded by Team C's 3 weeks ago, continues to push the false narrative through intentionally vague claims. Team C's is proof that when huge amounts of people can get together to make things better on this planet, then big things can happen. No, Mark Rober, Team C's proved the exact opposite. It proved that even when there is a Herculean effort to reduce plastic pollution, even when all the largest influencers on the internet rallied their audiences to clean up a solution, it did not make any positive difference. I don't know about it not making any positive difference. I mean, I feel like it brought everyone together, like we all sort of said. Look, I feel like Team C's was pretty good. I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks that. MrBeast and Mark Rober also went on to promote single-use plastic garbage. This video by Stay Honest goes into more depth in this. Mark, I like that your content promotes STEM to kids. You seem like a nice guy, but come on. You should know firsthand that cleanup efforts like Team C's are useless, and this problem is only solvable by regulatory action like banning unnecessary single-use plastics. So why did Team C's never mention corporate pollution or a push for ban on unnecessary single-use plastics, and instead push the narrative that this is a problem solvable by people and cleanup efforts? Could it be that 50% of the money went to Peter Thiel funded startup whose largest sponsor is Coca-Cola? Okay, so this is a pretty big allegation here. Or was your charity working for Coke? And this guy's pretty much saying, so Darren here, who is like the MrBeast philanthropy, like, I guess, ambassador or whatever. This guy, Darren, if you guys have watch MrBeast Philanthropy, is like the biggest guy on the channel. Apparently he works for Coke. I mean, I don't know if this is true. This is all alleged. This is all just coming from Dogpack. But I mean, if that's true, like, that is pretty damning evidence. So yeah, look, I don't think those Team C's allegations are crazy. I mean, if someone there is, you know, having Coca-Cola as a large sponsor, and, you know, Coca-Cola is responsible for a lot of plastic pollution, then I guess that's pretty bad. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Now, yesterday we talked about how after Dogpack's original video exposing MrBeast, you know, the huge viewed one, 6-7 million views, a current employee by the name Chucky responded and saying that Dogpack lied about everything. I read that tweet out in my last MrBeast video, but apparently Dogpack responded to this tweet. If you haven't seen the tweet or haven't seen any of my MrBeast videos so far, I recommend you go and watch them for more context if you don't know what's going on. But I'm gonna assume that you guys know what's going on and you've seen this guy Chucky, who pretty much responded to Dogpack's video. So this is now Dogpack debunking your debunking. Good character assassination attempt. You leave out my unpaid trial period and also my time working for Idea Guys, a company for which MrBeast is a client. The founder of Idea Guys also had to get permission from MrBeast to hire me, so weird you guys wouldn't tell him I was erratic. Also, weed and shrooms is obviously a joke. Jimmy doesn't know more than like a dozen people. How do you expect people to believe this? How many people do you think his employees know? Who is the contestant in Train vs. Pit? How about Lambo vs. Shredder? How did Ava's cousin Justin get into the Chocolate Factory video or Della Vlogs? Yeah, that was a point that Chucky made that I didn't really understand. Pretty much he said that like, oh, Jimmy doesn't know that many people, so you know, how could he get contestants that he knows in videos? Like, come on bro, Jimmy has 300 million subscribers and a team of like 200-300 people. Of course he knows of more than a dozen people. Like seriously, that's stupid. CGI is clearly not a secret. Cool, so when Jimmy was accused of using too much CGI in Train vs. Pit, when did he deny it on Twitter? The raccoon was a paid actor. Bruh, do you expect people to believe that Chris and Chandler were just petting an actual wild raccoon? From your own source on the island. The transfer tax was $1 and the company also paid $27 in tax and fees for the property. You leased it back to the owner for $0. 1 plus 27 equals 28. Okay, so pretty much what they're saying there is that the $1 island is, you know, actually $28. I don't really think it matters that much. But again, this guy Chucky in his original tweet didn't actually, he didn't mention any of the most important stuff in the video. He just went for the most irrelevant points that no one cares about. Like, no one cares about the raccoon being a paid actor. No one cares about that. All we really care about is all the bigger stuff, like MrBeast faking videos and bringing in people he shouldn't and rigging game shows. Interesting how you didn't mention altering the timers or contestant dialogue in post. And that's exactly what we're saying. Like, no one cares about the wink being added in post. No one cares about the raccoon, any of that. You acknowledge that the contestants were not random subscribers, but you refuse to acknowledge the clear rigging which can be seen multiple times on camera. Please watch Upper Echelon's video analyzing case law regarding this rigging. Also, I've now heard from people on the boys team that they were fed much later than the girls and the production was clearly favoring the boys. This guy was meant to say girls here, that was a typo. Upper Echelon's video also goes on to alleged illegal lotteries, which he describes to be completely indefensible. You completely forgot to address those as well. So pretty much what Dogpack is saying is that this original tweet up here by Chucky is just complete crap. Which, I mean, after looking at Dogpack's response, I can kind of see why that is. Look, bro, I'm gonna be honest, at this point, I feel like MrBeast himself just has to reply to this because he's had his employee try to reply to it, and that obviously went to complete crap. No one on his team can reply to this, and no one can actually, like, clear this up. I feel like MrBeast just has to go into his second channel, which has nearly 50 million subscribers, and just make a video explaining everything. Make it an hour, make it 2 hours, but just debunk everything if it's not true, MrBeast. Because, bro, this is so bad for your brand. Like, I know you don't need me to tell you that, but seriously, this is all so bad. Everyone's dunking on you. Pegasus has got 10 million views in the last week talking about this. Like, seriously, everyone thinks that MrBeast is a fraud at the moment. Like, his reputation over the last week has gone from hero to zero. Now, look, this video wouldn't be complete without talking about this brand new drama that just happened, which is Beast Games. Beast Games is an upcoming Amazon show that is allegedly being funded $100 million and is a TV show with huge videos on it. It's pretty much like a TV show series where it's just a bunch of challenges and there's a winner at the end, blah, blah, blah. Now, Rosanna Pansino, who is a huge YouTuber and was actually one of the contestants in MrBeast hide and seek videos, has been all over Twitter claiming that the Beast Games are pretty much just completely unsafe and she has inside info to some of the people on the production team. Now, this first video is called I'm Being Silenced. So pretty much Rosanna Pansino made a TikTok about this whole thing and it got 11 million views and then instantly just flatlined. And then the video got blocked in every single country but the US. So, I mean, some people think that this was MrBeast doing this, some some people think it was someone else, but let's see what Rosanna has to say.
I'm on dog duty tonight. Alright, so this isn't quite the video I thought I'd be filming today, but apparently the first video I made about MrBeast and his Beast games is being suppressed and restricted on TikTok as of today. If you hadn't seen that video, it is still up on my YouTube and Twitter, but it had around 11 million views on TikTok. I was simply telling one of the contestants' stories who talks about what appears to have been a very dangerous and mismanaged set. The video I posted is now only viewable in the US. It is blocked in every other country. I have not received an email from TikTok explaining why this happened. As of right now, someone is trying to silence me. I'll let you guys try and guess who would do something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, look, I don't personally think that MrBeast would have gone out of his way to go to this TikTok and be like, okay, silence. But honestly, at this point, after everything that's come out, you know, I'm not gonna rule it out completely. MrBeast is huge, bro. He's probably got people on every single social media platform that would just with a click of their finger can just snap videos out of existence. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if he did that, but I'm just gonna assume that he didn't. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say maybe someone on his team accidentally did it, or you know, it was something else, and maybe TikTok did it themselves. But look, now this video here, MrBeast Beast Games Keeps Getting Worse, is pretty much just a video where she exposes a whole bunch of stuff and throws out a whole lot of allegations, which are pretty crazy. So I need you guys to see this right now.
I just received a very interesting email that I wanted to share with you. As I mentioned before, I'm in touch with crew members and people working on Beast games. I've also been in contact with the people who are the IATSE union, both in Las Vegas, where the first week of shooting happened, as well in Canada, where the next round will be shooting. For those of you who don't know what IATSE is, it's spelled IATSE, and basically they are the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, and they represent the people behind the scenes who make TV shows and movies. They have over 168,000 members, and pretty much every large set I've ever been on, it's IATSE crews. Now, I'll have more info on this in the future, but a higher up in the industry who I trust more than anything, literally, you guys, I trust him with my life, and I know that sounds dramatic, but that's truly how I feel about this person. They said that Jimmy and his team specifically requested that Beast Games be non-union. This is for a few reasons. Mainly so Jimmy wouldn't have to pay the crew benefits, but also these unions require very strict safety guidelines. From what I'm hearing as well, MrBeast's team was in charge of hiring the crew, and they couldn't find enough non-union people to hire, so they were forced to hire union members. The MrBeast team still said they would not pay anyone's benefits. Dear members of IATSE, MrBeast parentheses Beast Games, aka Project Greenlight, has been deemed an unfair production. As per Section 12 of the Constitution and bylaws, parentheses see below, no member of IATSE is permitted to work on this production. He wants to hire union workers, he wants the quality, but he doesn't want to pay for them. In my opinion, and from the stories that I've heard, Jimmy pays very little and did not want to cover people's benefits. Amazon gave Jimmy $100 million to make this game show. That is plenty of money to make a safe show. And I want to know, where's the money going?
I mean, look, those are some huge allegations right there. Like, seriously, and again, that is a very good point. I mean, you've been given $100 million, you know, for this game show. And you're telling me that, you know, you've got union workers, but you don't want to pay for the union workers? I mean, this isn't even your own money we're talking about. You know, I say I could understand here, but you know, I couldn't really understand. It would be better, you know, more understood if this was your own money that you were talking about, and you know, you were trying to scam workers out of your own money. But seriously, it's not even your money we're talking about here. We're talking about $100 million from Amazon. Surely you can pay workers to make this whole thing work. I mean, seriously, like that's just my opinion. I feel like that's fair. Anyways, look, there is probably so much more that's going to come out about this, so definitely stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be covering so much more of this when it comes out. Alright, so MrBeast is now deleting comments on his most recent video. And apparently everyone now is dislike bombing the absolute crap out of it as well. We have that and so much more to talk about today, so let's just jump right in. Pretty much for those of you that aren't caught up to speed yet, MrBeast is probably having the worst PR couple of weeks I've ever seen on the internet. His childhood best friend got exposed for being a kiddie fiddler. Then it was alleged that MrBeast knew about Chris being a kiddie fiddler the whole time and did nothing about it. Then MrBeast had a huge video about him alleging that he's been faking videos, running illegal lotteries and faking giveaways and just so much more with Feastables and everything. Then he went on to send out cease and desist letters to the guy who made this video about him. All of this has been covered by a great YouTuber, I think his name is Glider Guy Live or something like that. There's a ton of videos he's made about the situation, so if you haven't seen any of this already, then go watch those videos and immediately come back to this one for the new stuff that we have today. Alright, so let's start this off. Now, MrBeast made a new video about a day ago called something along the lines of, 100 days in a bunker and you win $500,000. It's pretty much just like a typical MrBeast video, like the type of video you'd expect MrBeast to make. He pretty much just had two contestants sit in a nuclear bunker for 100 days and had them do a bunch of challenges, and apparently this video isn't being received very well. Obviously, MrBeast uploaded this in the middle of this whole, these whole allegations that have been coming out against him. Probably one of the worst times, to be honest, to upload a video like this. I don't know why he's decided to continue uploading without responding to anything. I mean, this situation with him and Dogpack 404, the whole massive 1 hour long exposed video about him, I feel like it probably would have been wiser for him to actually respond to that before posting this video, but anyway, he's posted it. And look, bro, as much as people want to hate on MrBeast right now and say they're like, oh, this is the end of MrBeast, I mean, this video right here is a 2 out of 10 at the moment. I mean, like you can see from this website here, it is clearly outperforming every single other video that he's ever made. I don't really think that this situation is going to hurt MrBeast financially. I mean, you can see right here, he's probably made just about $500,000 in the first day of this video being up. So look, I really don't think that this situation is going to hurt him in any way. But apparently what is going to hurt this guy is the fact that this video with about 86 million views, you can see it has 3.57 million likes here, but apparently it has also a few million dislikes as well. There have been so many screenshots, and Drama Alert actually made a tweet, which I can't show because they've actually deleted it because apparently it's wrong. You can see this screenshot right here, an hour after the video was uploaded, have 7.5 million views, about 900,000 likes, but apparently it also had 500,000 dislikes. So this was a huge thing that was going on yesterday, and everyone thought that MrBeast was just getting dunked on completely for this video, and everyone was sitting there disliking the videos. And like I said, Drama Alert made a tweet about this and it was blowing up, but now it turns out that they've updated this tweet, and apparently this was all wrong, but now apparently people are saying that Drama Alert are lying about this. There's so much to go through with this, so let's just begin. We apologize. We just deleted a tweet showing 500,000 dislikes on MrBeast's new upload. This info came from a third-party app that allows you to see the dislikes. Fellow creators reached out saying that the third-party app is not to be trusted. We also got in contact with MrBeast for the real numbers, and here are apparently the real numbers. So apparently the like to dislike ratio is 99.6%, 1.1 million likes, and 4,000 dislikes. Now look, I don't know about you, bro, but when you're in the midst of a scandal like this and you're in the middle of huge allegations, people are getting millions of views talking about you being a scammer and, running illegal lotteries and, running Feastables poorly and scamming people, doing all sorts of stuff. I personally don't think that in the first few hours of your video being up, you would only have 5,000 dislikes. And now look, I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second. I think when a video becomes this viral and you're such a huge YouTuber that obviously your videos go beyond people on Twitter that know about a situation like this, I think it's quite obvious that most of MrBeast viewers don't know about this situation. I don't think 86 million people know that, all these allegations are coming out against MrBeast. So I'm kind of inclined to believe that the dislikes on MrBeast's video aren't at like 50%, and I don't really think that it's like 1 million likes to 1 million dislikes. I personally don't think that that's the case. But what I do think is that there is 100% more than 5,000 people that would go to a MrBeast video and spam dislike on his videos. I don't think that this guy would be getting away with it like he is here. 99.6%, like I don't care how big your video is, there's no way that it is that good of a like to dislike ratio. But anyway, here it says the current dislikes are directly from MrBeast's team, and it says 2.3 million likes and 20,000 dislikes with an average rating of 99%, and the channel's average is apparently 98.2. Now look, I get it that this video is a 1 out of 10 and it's a huge video and it's exceeding every other video, but I don't know, bro, I just truly can't believe that he has a 99% like ratio at this point in time right now at the start of August after everything he's gone through in the last few weeks. I truly don't think that this this is the case. I feel like this has got to be fabricated. Now look, under this drama alert tweet, apparently everyone was calling for Keemstar, saying that he was being paid by MrBeast, saying that, you know, he sent him a paycheck to spread all this information, and, you know, these like to dislike ratios aren't actually true. You guys got paid to do that, didn't you? And it's just a, you know, photo of Snoop Dogg. MrBeast videos are fake and people are waking up to it. 1.9 thousand likes. I mean, bro, people really do think that drama alert are being paid. You sure about that, says Jake the Viking, who, for those that don't know, is actually an ex-employee of MrBeast. And it's pretty much just him showing that apparently there is 1.4 million likes to 900,000 dislikes. Now, you might be sitting here a little confused thinking, well, how do people know how many dislikes there are? Like, didn't YouTube delete dislikes? Well, pretty much how people are seeing the dislikes is that there was a YouTube, like, Chrome extension that was released a couple of years ago once YouTube removed dislikes off the platform, and pretty much it can show any video's dislikes, so it pretty much just returns the dislike button, because YouTube removed the display to dislike. So if you're just a random person stumbling on a video, you can't see how many dislikes someone has, but the dislike button still does exist. So this is apparently what the YouTube Chrome extension thinks that the MrBeast video has the dislikes. Like, the YouTube Chrome extension is just saying, you know, not a million dislikes on this video. But apparently this third-party app that people are using to see that MrBeast has a million dislikes isn't to be trusted. Apparently they use some formula to where people that use the dislike feature and press it, and you know, that they use some formula to calculate, and apparently it's wrong. I don't know how much I believe that, but that's just what's out there at the moment. I doubt that. Return YouTube dislike has been pretty accurate these days. It sucked when it initially was released, but that's not the case anymore. It may be off by 5 to 10%, but it's not egregiously off like it used to be. So look, there's people on both sides. Drama Alert seem to think that this third-party app isn't to be trusted, and a lot of people in Drama Alert's Twitter replies do think that it should be trusted. So look, after this, Keemstar made this huge video. It's like 4 minutes long, pretty much explaining everything and trying to debunk everything. So let's have a look at this now.
Good morning, Twitter. I am not paid off by MrBeast. I'm not. Stop saying it, okay? Yesterday, we put out a news story that MrBeast's new video within the first hour got 500,000 dislikes. That tweet that we put out using a third-party app to see the dislikes, 500K dislikes, went viral. It almost had 1 million views before I deleted it and issued an apology. Now, why did I delete it and issue an apology? Because other creators reached out to me and told me, hey, that third-party app that you're using to see the dislikes on the MrBeast video cannot be trusted, because there's a formula with that app where basically how many people that actually use the app that hit dislike, so then they have to like figure out how many people that are not using the app, so they run off of a percentage, and then they guesstimate that around, I don't know, 30 or 40% of the people watching the video actually hit dislike. These are not hard numbers. They're guessing. The app is guessing. There's a formula based on the people that use the app and actually dislike. So it can't really be trusted. Do you understand what I'm saying? Once these other creators told me that, then I had to reach out to MrBeast directly to get a screenshot of his back end on the video. And sure enough, it was like 98% likes, okay? So the 500K dislikes, completely bullshit. So I issued an apology. I took down the original tweet. I put out the real numbers, and the response from everyone is, Keemstar, you got paid off by MrBeast. No, I fucking didn't. No, I fucking didn't.
Okay, so he's pretty much just completely denying that he's been paid off by MrBeast. Now look, I don't truly think that he's been paid off by MrBeast. That's a little bit of a ridiculous thing to kind of say, but I mean, look, the internet in 2024 has gone absolutely crazy. We've had people being outed for things that we never thought would happen. Cody Ko got exposed for talking to minors. Dr. Disrespect got exposed for talking to minors. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if MrBeast paid Keemstar to make him look good with all this whole dislike controversy thing. That just wouldn't surprise me at this point. However, do I actually think that that's the case? Yeah, no, obviously. I mean, I don't really think it is. However, this whole dislike situation is pretty interesting. I mean, I truly don't know where I stand with this. I don't know if, you know, the third-party app has made a mistake, if there are actually 1 million dislikes. I truly don't know. Like, so many people are saying different things. I'm very much split, and I'm interested to see if anything gets proven, to be honest. Now, it says these are the real numbers as of last night. And again, 2.3 million likes, 20,000 dislikes. I don't know if I believe that, to be honest with you. And I mean, mean, there's another thing here. Pretty much there's a screen recording proving, and you know, it's going through, refreshing everything, 3 million likes, 37,000 dislikes. Apparently this is supposed to be proof. It is pretty solid evidence to me, but like, then again, I just truly don't believe that in the middle of a huge controversy like this, that you only have 37,000 dislikes, and that's the only people disliking the video. I just truly don't believe that. Like, this story is huge at the moment. Everyone's talking about in the MrBeast situation. I just don't know if I believe that. But anyway, moving on from the dislike to like ratio thingo, apparently MrBeast is now deleting comments. So pretty much what people are saying is that on this recent video, and I'm in incognito tab here, so I'm on a completely different thing, so it's not biased towards anyone. Pretty much all the comments at the top here are just like talking about the regular video, and there's nothing crazy here. But apparently people are saying that MrBeast is like blacklisting certain words and filtering things out to where, you know, you can't mention Chris Tyson, you can't mention the Dogpack 404 video, you can't mention certain things. And normally what happens is that if you sort by newest on a MrBeast video, most of the time you would see a bunch of comments talking about the situation. But what's happening here, and what's interesting to me, is I've just sorted it by newest, and the newest comment was 5 minutes ago. Now look, MrBeast's video got 86 million views in the first day, and it's currently getting millions of views per hour. There should be comments coming in every single second, so it's very interesting to me how the last one was 5 minutes ago. Honestly, that's just proving it to me right now. I mean, they're clearly deleting comments, they're clearly filtering things through and making sure that people don't talk about the situation. And I mean, if you look at this here, there's really no one talking about this right now. I mean, it's really hard to find anything. Yeah, I mean, scrolling through this right now, you'd think at least one person in the last half an hour, at least one person would be talking about the situation. But apparently no one's talking about it, which I really don't believe at all. So yeah, I do genuinely think that there are people on MrBeast team censoring comments on this video. Maybe it's not MrBeast himself, but people from MrBeast team. But either way, it's really not looking good for him. I mean, he's clearly trying to hide from the situation, and he clearly doesn't want to respond to it. Alright, so MrBeast just got exposed again in another Dogpack 404 video. This time there are serious allegations about potential MrBeast employees trying to get women high, on set, and then trying to do bad things to them. There's also more evidence that MrBeast fakes all of his videos and scripts and most of his storylines. Also, a former MrBeast employee, Jake Weddle, went on an interview saying that essentially he was being tortured and alleged that crimes were being committed against him during a challenge video that never got uploaded. Also, more manipulation tactics by MrBeast have been exposed. And just to top all of this off, an alleged S-offender, I can't say the actual word, was working at the company for a very long time, and Jimmy tried to cover him up. All of this is alleged, by the way, just want to get that out of the way right now. None of this is 100% proven, but just from the way this is looking at the moment, this is really not looking good for MrBeast. So anyway, let's begin. Dogpack 404 made a video earlier today called I Worked for MrBeast. He's a sociopath, it's absolutely blowing up, which is like a part 2 to a video posted 2 weeks ago called I Work for MrBeast, He's a Fraud. I've broken down this second video for you all today, so let's just jump straight in, because there's so much to cover.
Content cop from Temu back at it again. So just before I get into my interrogation with former MrBeast employee Jake Weddle, a lot has happened since my last video. After posting, I got hundreds of messages from former MrBeast employees, and I had them all like send proof of former employment. You know, just people showing their support or telling their stories of you know, fake videos or unsafe practices, you know, toxic workplace, stuff like that. I'm not really gonna get into those claims because, for one, like, most people want to stay anonymous, which I understand. And also, like, I think most of that stuff's just been covered with you know, the news coming out about Beast Games and everything. And also I have like more serious allegations that I want to start covering. Also, I heard from a very credible source that MrBeast has been sitting on a response to part 1 because he was worried if he posted it, I would instantly respond with part 2, you know, like this is Kids Bop, Kendrick Lamar vs. Drake. Also, I know MrBeast's secret CEO has been practically like harassing my people on, you know, hey, what's in part 2? What does he know? So I will just tell you, James, what will be in part 3, so you don't have to harass my people. It will be about serious allegations of sexual misconduct in the company and your direct involvement in covering up those crimes. And I'll make sure to give you full credit and plaster your face all over the screen when we talk about that.
Already some serious allegations there, and apparently there was also going to be a part 3 to this. So I mean, the stuff in this second dog pack video we're going to be going over today is really bad, like I've just mentioned, but apparently there's even more to this, bro. God damn, like when does this end? It seriously seems like this MrBeast situation is never going to end. But anyway, this first point I found really interesting, which was the 100 boys vs 100 girls video. Apparently there were allegations of potential SA on set.
During the 100 boys versus girls video, I have people corroborating the same story that the camera guy who gave the girls a drone was making some girls feel uncomfortable. You trap these girls in a circle and make them sleep on rough turf and get them high on paint fumes, and then you try to f them.
Okay, that seems really dark.
No, it's not dark. You're misunderstanding me, bro.
I think I am.
Yeah, you are. Because if the girl said no, then the answer obviously is no.
No.
But the thing is she's not gonna say no. She would never say no because of the implication.
Okay, so those are some pretty serious allegations right there. Honestly, if that's true right there, that's enough to make a video like this. I mean, getting girls high on paint fumes and then apparently trying to F them is some pretty serious stuff in my opinion. I don't really know how that would work considering they're all in a circle and there's a bunch of people in there, but if that's true, then honestly, I don't know what to say. Now, he then says that this will all be explained in part 3, and you know, that kind of explains why he's talking very vaguely about it, which honestly just kind of makes me even more interested for part 3. I seriously can't wait for it to come out. Like, bro, what the hell is going on in MrBeast HQ at the moment? How are there so many alleged skeletons in your closet that there's already 2 hours worth of content completely exposing you? But anyway, the next part of this video, Jake Weddle, who is a former MrBeast employee from the years 2019 to 2020, and a little bit of 2021. This guy was a huge fan favorite, and honestly, he was one of my favorite MrBeast cast members, going along with Chris Tyson and Chandler. Apparently, he stopped working with MrBeast in 2020, but featured in a video that was never uploaded where he was in solitary confinement, which never got uploaded because apparently this went terribly wrong. But anyway, the first thing that this guy alleges is that MrBeast is pretty much faking all of his videos, and he gives an example here.
What would you say is the fakest video that you worked on while you were there?
I was a writer there, and we were working on a video, crushing my friend's car with a rock or meteor or something. It was a rock or a meteor in the title of it, I can't remember, but he wanted to do a prank where, unbeknownst to the person, he takes a rock, crushes their car, and they're supposed to think a rock came out of space.
We're gonna take a meteor and we're gonna put it on Weddle's car. We're gonna take another meteor and put it on Marcus's car. Both of them have no idea that we're doing this. Weddle and Marcus are probably shocked. They had no idea.
And so that was the one and only time I had to, huh? My car? What? And on the fly, I saw him, because Marcus was in that video. So Marcus is calling his mom. Marcus genuinely had no idea. He genuinely had no idea. But so Marcus is calling his mom, and his mom's freaking out. And I'm like, oh no, they're gonna call my mom next. So I had to text my mom, who had to beg to get the title very quickly. Now I'm texting my mom, I go, Mom, I'm about to call you about the meteor thing. You have no idea? Be surprised. And then I hit send, and then they go, call your mom now. And I call my mom and I tell her, and oh, she should have got the Oscar. Oh my God, on the fly, she goes, what? I'm on vacation. Mom, my car has been destroyed.
Wait, what?
A meteor hit it.
Jacob, I'm on vacation. Do you understand?
Okay, that is pretty believable and honestly pretty damning in my opinion. I mean, look, it's hard to prove this either way, to be honest, and I don't know for sure whether Jake here is just lying and, you know, about him knowing that this was fake, just because he doesn't like MrBeast, because the guy was also fired from MrBeast, so it wouldn't surprise me if he was just saying this because he doesn't like him. However, after all the evidence we've seen so far proving that MrBeast is pretty much faking his videos, it's kinda hard to deny this one here, and again, this just corroborates it here. Now, to those people that are still watching this, and I don't know why this is a rhetoric, some people seem to think that it doesn't matter that MrBeast fakes these videos. The problem isn't that his videos are fake. I mean, it's entertainment, right? It doesn't really matter if traditional media do it, so why does it matter if MrBeast does it? The problem is that Jimmy is so adamant that his content is real. He goes in podcasts all the time berating people that even dare to call his content fake. So if it turns out to be fake, which, I mean, it really is starting to sound like it is, that is just so scummy. You're essentially just lying to your audience. Now, this next part is Jake pretty much explaining how MrBeast doesn't pay his employees fairly. He talks about how he was 20 years old at the time and that a writer who had a kid and, you know, had the same job as Jake was getting paid less. Then he went on to complain about it to MrBeast and his manager, and then they ended up firing them both and paid them out on the spot.
Yeah, I was talking to this other writer, like, it's fucked up, you know, that's how the pay is, and I want you to get paid more, you know, because you deserve to get paid more. You know, I don't have a kid. And he didn't want to rock the boat. He desperately didn't want to rock the boat. He's just, I like my job. I like, because when you grow up with nothing, not to say that he did, but I know I did, And I said my piece, and he backed me up. And I said, I need XYZ or I'm out of here. And they said, bet. And they gave me a severance check the next day. And they gave him a severance check the next day. And if I knew he was going to lose his job too, I wouldn't have done it. Me, I was over the moon. I was like, you're going to give me a check and I get to leave? I don't get to deal with the how many Orbeez can I fit up my asshole every day? And I get to go home and you're going to pay me to leave. I was over the moon. And he was devastated. And I really regret that. But, me and him are really still tight. We're still good friends.
Look, I kind of feel like this guy's crying for extra effect on the video, if I'm being honest. But I still feel like it's pretty valid what this guy's saying, and it is really shady for someone to be doing the same job and being paid less. Maybe I'm missing something here, and maybe Jake could be in the wrong here. Maybe there could have been some disagreement that caused both of them to get fired, and Jake could have done something wrong here. But it's hard to tell when MrBeast is just completely radio silent about this. If he would just make a response, or someone from his team would make a response, this would be so much easier to tell if it was all real or not. Because at this point, it's just getting really confusing deciphering real from fake. Now Jake talks about his experience in more detail about him being in solitary confinement in a MrBeast video that didn't end up getting uploaded. He starts by explaining that he grew up poor and that MrBeast crew pitched this idea to him being in solitary confinement for 100 days, like some luxury vacation, and only the last 5 days or so would be really hard, and that if he got out within 30 days, it would be okay because they would still have a video, so pretty much, dumbing it down for him. And if he did this challenge, he would be getting paid $10,000 per day. And Jake growing up poor was like, hell yeah, I'll do that, sign me up for that. And then he talks about how he's been cut out of most MrBeast videos because apparently his personality is too vibrant, whatever that means. Then he talks about his experience in this solitary confinement video, and this is pretty bad.
I get there, and at first it's fine. And, they had just freshly painted the set. You could smell it, which that's probably not good, the smell of fresh paint in your surroundings for the next XYZ time. It looked good on the visual. It looks good on camera. It's movie magic bullshit. It was a terrible facility. It was in one of the studios. They had to get a separate tank for septic stuff. Yeah, there was a hot tub in it. Yeah, there was an ice cream machine. Things were cool and funny on paper. But when you think about stuff, a hot tub, if not connected to a filtration system, give it 3 days, it's gonna stink. There's not a hot water mechanism, so the hot tub was a lukewarm tub at best, which was a silly complaint, but the shower was always cold, and you're taking a quick shower, and I had cameras 24/7 on me, and the ice cream machine, let's talk about that for a second. The ice cream machine has 2 modes, on, and off, reeking of smelly dairy mildew. So I got to choose which sense was assaulted at a time. I couldn't have all of them good. So the little things started to build up. There was the bug thing wasn't terrible, but it was a factor. And at first it was fine, and you're playing it up because it's a video. And it got to a point where they weren't turning the lights off. I asked them, I said, can we have nighttime hours? And they said no, because it would fuck up the time-lapse shots. The time-lapse of what? Me sleeping? Or me not sleeping? Yeah, I saw in other videos they did oh, you're gonna get XYZ hours of sunlight. Oh, great! Want to know how they figured that one out? I didn't have it. One of the things was you got to take away your clock, so you didn't know what time it was. Okay, I got no access to sun. I got no access to clock. I don't know, the lights are on me all the time. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there. I had good people looking out for me. I had a lot of good people looking out for me, saying this we gotta stop. So I just wanted to turn the lights off, and I'm vocalizing to people. I wish the lights would turn off. And I go up to my friend, my good friend, and I go. They're not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists. Oh, good. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess, is what we're doing.
Okay, yeah, the fact that the lights wouldn't turn off is pretty crazy in my opinion. I mean, if it's true that that's a literal war crime, like, I'm genuinely concerned for this guy's health, and that definitely needs to be something that needs to be looked into. On the flip side, however, now this does get a whole lot worse, but correct me if I'm wrong here, this, from the way this guy's explained it, really doesn't seem too far off what you'd expect a MrBeast video to be like. To cut MrBeast just a little bit of slack here, I mean, getting paid $10,000 a day to sit in a box, whether the lights are on or off, is pretty good in my opinion. And also, I mean, you were signing up for a solitary confinement video, let's get that out of the way right now. I'm not sure if this guy's just ignorant or whatever, but you do understand what solitary confinement does mean, right? It literally means you have limited to no contact to humans for a long period of time. But now comes the ethics about doing this for a YouTube video. Is this something that is okay to put another human being through for a YouTube video? I mean, that's up for debate. And also, the legality of this comes into play at some point. Obviously, this guy's still got so much more to explain, but I think the fact that you can leave at any time makes this a little bit better for MrBeast. However, apparently this gets a whole lot worse. Now, one thing that I really wanted to point out that I think is really scummy from MrBeast is the things that he was essentially forcing Jake to say in this video.
Sometimes he'd have a note with the director over the phone that would really piss me off. This is the note I got from the director, from Jimmy, when I'm receiving some cash. He said, Jimmy said, can you say to the camera how thankful you are that now you can pay back your student loans? You know how hard it was to do a take of that? They pretend to make it genuine.
I mean, look, I don't think it takes a genius at this point to realize that MrBeast videos really just aren't genuine. I don't know what it was, but after the pandemic, I just noticed a huge shift in MrBeast videos that went from feeling extremely genuine and authentic to being exactly what Jake is describing here, which is just fake and scripted. I mean, to call in a contestant, an employee for that matter, to fake a reaction sitting there saying, "Oh my god, I'm so grateful that I get to pay off my student loans," after allegedly committing a war crime against this guy and refusing to turn the lights off. I mean, this would be okay if Jimmy was doing this to himself, you know, making himself spend a certain amount of time in solitary confinement in these conditions, but making someone else do it without them knowing is just pretty disgusting in my opinion. But again, there is two sides to this, right? Jake could leave this set at any time, he really could have just left whenever he wanted. However, even that's up for discussion because later in this video he talks about how apparently that wasn't even an easy thing to do. It wasn't as easy as just saying, okay, I want to leave. But before we get onto that, this next bit Jake talks about how MrBeast is just a fake liar with his videos, and how the challenges that MrBeast does in these videos where he asks contestants if they want an extra bag of money to do something extra in the video, apparently he forces the people in the videos to do the challenges whether they want to or not.
And so the thing that made me want to, I gotta get out. I can't do another day in a year. Jimmy comes in and I'm asleep. I don't know what time it is. I don't know, it's like 2 or 3 or whatever. He's like, why is he sleeping? I don't know, because I can't sleep. And he comes in, he wakes me up. And he goes, ask me why I have 2 briefcases. And I'm like, why do you have 2 briefcases? And he goes, oh, because this one's for today, you know, and this one's for the challenge. And I go, what's the challenge today? He goes, you're gonna run a marathon. You're gonna do the 22.6K, whatever it is. And you're gonna do it on that treadmill over there. The first challenge I did was a Rubik's Cube, and I'm dyslexic, I'm dumb. I don't know how to do a Rubik's Cube. So your first challenge, Rubik's Cube. I was like, oh, I don't want to do it. I was like, on camera, I don't want to do it. He goes, just do it for the thing, like kid, you know? Like, there was an element of, oh, Jake will do what we want because he's in-house. You know, that's one of the reasons why they got me. Jake's, he's an inside guy, so he'll do whatever. We can push him a little extra hard because we know he's good. I couldn't say no to the treadmill thing. Yeah. So I people who run marathons train forever, and it's still hard. Again, writer. Do I look like I run? I don't run. You know?
So yeah, I mean, that's just scummy as hell. I mean, the Rubik's Cube thing is whatever, right? Like, that doesn't really harm Jake, getting him to try and solve a Rubik's Cube. I mean, that's fine. But for that first challenge, it's really just the principle of it. I mean, it's clearly fake if you're forcing the guy to say yes and, you know, you're forcing him to say yes to do it. Again, Jimmy has this whole thing where he's like, yeah, guys, all my videos are real and nothing is scripted. Yet apparently Jake was being forced to say yes for the sake of the video, which again, no one is really arguing that that's bad, that you're making people do challenges challenges for content. It's just when you say that everything is real and it's clearly not, that's where it lies. Like that's where the lie is. However, the second challenge you just talked about, where he's being forced to try and run 22 kilometers on a treadmill when he clearly didn't want to for the video and sustained injuries from it, yeah, I mean, that's just really messed up. And I swear something like that can't be legal. I mean, you gotta think about this, right? MrBeast isn't just some random YouTube channel with friends, it is a company with employees, and Jake is an employee. He's being hired by MrBeast. This isn't MrBeast's friend, this isn't someone he's known for ages, this is an employee. Yes, this is some silly video where you're being forced to do challenges you didn't sign up for, blah blah blah, but that's when things get out of hand. But this next bit, Jake talks about how he was pretty much going insane during this video and he apparently couldn't make it for the 30 days he was told to make it through. So this is Jake talking about how apparently he tried to leave this video and it really wasn't as easy as it seems.
And I asked him, I said, how much longer are you guys going to keep me in here? And the guy goes, realistically, like at least 7 more days? No. And they didn't let me leave right away either. They wanted to make sure, everything was fine. So I just, slept for a while. They turned the lights off. And they brought, it's like they brought in all my friends, to make it. They brought in all the people I liked. And Jimmy. Then everybody was around me making sure I was good, making sure I was okay. But Jimmy had his he was sitting in the chair turned around like an evil villain. Swear to God. Everyone was looking at me and he was like Lex Luthor over there. He turns around, he stands up. He does the exact same thing when he's pretending to have a human connection. You know when you're watching a video and he's like, oh, stop, you're gonna make me cry. And he touches his eye or whatever as if he's crying. He's just... I didn't have to pretend to do that shit. She says, as if rehearsed by his lawyers. Yeah, your mental health's the most important thing. I just want to make sure you're okay. And the last thing we want you to do is... I can almost hear the word Sue come out of his mouth. The S, he just stopped right before it got out. I did not get the 300K. What I got, he goes, think of it this way. At least you get to keep what you earned. You were in there for XYZ days. You did XYZ challenges, so you got, 100,000 some change.
Now look, 100,000 and some change here really does seem pretty good, but I don't know, man, the way he's describing what happened just seems really daunting in my opinion. At least Jake did receive the money in the end here, but I mean, you've been mentally tortured like that, and when you want to leave the challenge, you've got to wait overnight until Jimmy comes back because you need an outro or whatever. I feel like that's pretty scummy in my opinion. This really just feels like manipulation. I mean, you're getting someone that clearly needs the money and is in a vulnerable position to do crazy challenges that he's pretty much forced to be doing, like running a marathon and solving a Rubik's Cube. That's not even to mention how fake it is that he's pretty much being forced to do these challenges, even though in the video he's making it seem like that he's got a choice when he clearly doesn't. It just shows how scripted MrBeast videos really are. Now, there are these messages that were sent between Jake and a bunch of other members of the MrBeast crew after Jake got out of the challenge.
So I just want to hop in here and show some text that Jake sent me after this interview. This is July 29, 2021, a few days after he got out of solitary. How are you feeling after a few days? Better. I still couldn't sleep even a few days out, but I almost have my sleep cycle back on track. My legs and joints are good, but the blisters on my feet still hurt to walk on. Medical advice I got was not to lance them and just let them go away with time. I'm mentally still in an uneasy place, but I've gotten back on better help. My therapist is a little concerned, but we are working on things. Reminder, this is not supposed to be a traumatic life event. This is supposed to be a MrBeast video.
Now look, was it bad the way Jake was treated in this MrBeast video? Yes, obviously. I don't think there's really any doubting that. The fact that MrBeast was essentially forcing Jake to do these challenges and accept them for content, and the fact that he didn't know he was going to have to do these challenges. However, I mean, he didn't last the 30 days technically in solitary confinement, so I don't think he should have had to get the $300,000 paid. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he didn't spend the whole time that was required for the video, so I don't think that his mental health is a good enough reason to just tick the challenge off and be like, okay, well, I guess I have to give you the 300,000. But anyway, now we get into the really juicy stuff. So everything that I've just said is pretty bad, right? But that is completely tame compared to the stuff that I'm about to show you now. So like I keep hinting at, people are going to sit here and say, oh, well, Jake could have left the video at any time, so, you know, it's his fault for staying and not leaving. Well, Dogpack, in this next bit that I have to show you, releases an official document from MrBeast HQ, pretty much explaining what they do in those situations.
Also, as far as like, he could have said no, he could have left at any time, I want to show this segment from an internal document at MrBeast called How to Succeed in MrBeast Production. Specifically on page 19, there's a paragraph called No does not mean no. Already insane, because it's sort of, it seems to be co-opting the popular anti-rape slogan.
Yeah, bro, that is completely cooked. MrBeast ain't beating the allegations after this one.
It reads, when dealing with people outside MrBeast Productions, never take no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside of, and you can call the local Dollar Tree, and the person that answers says, no, you can't film here, that literally doesn't mean shit. Talk to other employees and see if they are fans or if any have kids that are fans. Try talking to their boss's boss. Have me DM them on Twitter and try their social team. If all avenues are exhausted and you are left with a no, that doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend the rules. Basically what I'm trying to convey is what we call pushing through no. Don't stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is one of many tools that when combined dramatically improve your probability of success when producing here. So yeah, this idea of like pushing through no's is a big component to working at MrBeast. And the way that it manifests itself a lot of the time is like a director might tell a producer, hey, we need access to 30 acres of farmland by Tuesday or we lose $500,000. Now, if you're the producer, you obviously know that means get it done or you lose your job. So what can happen is like a producer's calling up farmers saying, hey, I need to use your land. And the farmer might be like, okay, but you know, I have animals, you can't be making really loud noises, no pyrotechnics, and you got to clean everything up. So the producer is sort of incentivized to lie and say, or maybe the producer doesn't even actually know the total contents of the video, right? Things changed last second. So they're very like, they're financially incentivized to be manipulative and sort of, they're put in positions where it's like, oh, it's either the producer's job or a civilian's job, like where it talks about, hey, maybe the manager would be willing to bend the rules. Well, you shouldn't really be pressuring civilians to bend the rules that could get them fired, you know?
Yeah, so that's a pretty crazy allegation, bro. I mean, right off the bat, titling the part of the document no doesn't mean no is just crazy. Like, bro, that is some crazy manipulation, and it's clear Jimmy knows exactly what he's doing with this as well. I mean, you gotta think about it, right? Jimmy has 300 million subscribers. Millions, if not billions of dollars to just throw around. When you call up a small business and are essentially paying your producers and directors to pressure them into working with you, like, that's sketchy as. It's an abuse of power simply for your own gain, like, you're not helping anyone there. Whether doing something like that is legal or not, ethically, it's just not right, and you don't do that. And now apparently there is an example where MrBeast and his team just straight up left trash at a site that they were filming at during the Protect the Yacht, You Keep It video. Apparently in this video, he straight up says at the end, yeah, we cleaned up the area to make sure that there was no rubbish around, when in reality they just completely trashed the place.
I'll show you a real life example. This is unused evidence from part 1. I had seen this Reddit post titled MrBeast leaving trash behind and debris at film site in Ayden, North Carolina. Apparently he left a large boat in a pond as well as debris around the film site in the bottom of the pond weeks and weeks after the agreed time frame. This actually rendered it unsafe for campers and almost delayed the camp's opening date multiple times due to not being able to get in contact with MrBeast to get the stuff cleaned up out of the area. So I actually know that this is from a MrBeast video called Protect the Yacht, Keep It, where at the end of that video, he actually says,
And if you're wondering, yes, we did ensure the lake was completely cleaned up after this video. For the love of God, subscribe so we can pass T-Series.
Yeah, so he says at the end of the video that they made sure it was cleaned up. I was actually on site for part of this production. I was at this camp. So I decided to send an email out to the camp, basically saying, hey, I heard these rumors. I'm investigating similar incidents. And the camp responded, actually not denying the claims, going on to say, I am sure that there are no perfect film productions, just as there are no perfect people. I am grateful for the opportunity that we had to host the production crew, and because grace, or forgiveness, has been offered to me so freely, I will choose to offer the same. So clearly alluding to the fact that there was a wrongdoing by MrBeast production team. And that's like sort of the thing is, if you're around Greenville, you know these stories of people working with MrBeast and it being extremely unprofessional, them not doing what they say. But they sort of get by a lot on their good public image. And like, I mean, this camp offered to host them completely for free. And I guarantee, like, if you went to the lake at the camp and you went magnet fishing, like, you'd find all sorts of debris that's still there to this day. Like, they didn't clean it all up.
Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty damning evidence that this did actually happen, considering Dogpack got in contact with the people that own the site. I just gotta say right now that if this is true right there, like, that is just outright disgusting. You really couldn't take the time, like you literally said in your video that you would, to clean up the place that you trashed? I mean, if I was the guy who owned the place and had it trashed by MrBeast just for him to not reply when you ask him to come and clean it up, I'd be so pissed off. You just don't go around doing that, bro. Again, I don't know the legality behind all of this, but I feel like it's common sense that you clean up after yourself, right? You don't sit around ignoring attempts to reach out to you when you are affecting the business of people. I mean, apparently they couldn't host people that were camping there and whatnot for a while due to all the debris around there. Like, that is just completely unprofessional from the MrBeast team.
Outside of Chris Tyson, did you notice any or hear about any sexual misconduct at the company?
I've heard rumors. I can't confirm or deny anything. I don't have any tangible evidence, but I've heard stuff that if it could be investigated, that'd be great. But it's like water cooler talk. But I've heard things, yes, of course. I heard, people have been let go for sexually assaulting some very young people. The idea that Jimmy didn't know, or that Jimmy was covering stuff up. He didn't want stuff to come out. He's very careful about his image. The tangible proof that he knew but covered it up. How do you prove that, Well, there was a known sex offender, registered sex offender, convicted sex offender on the registry and everything, who worked there. And like, you can, someone pees in public, you're on the registry, you get it. You can still have a job after you're on that's one thing. You go to prison, you get rehabilitated, that's one thing. Like, if you do your time, that's fine. I think there should be rehabilitation in this country. But that guy, from what I hear, I can't confirm or deny, from what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some not great stuff to some underage people. And they knew that. And he's working at a channel that has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people. And they covered up the fact that not only did he work there, but he was like the manager when it all started. And that he knew, and because he'll be in videos, he'll be in thumbnails, he'll be around, and whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? And that your face could be looked up on a thing? How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender?
Okay, now this is probably the most wild allegation we've got so far. I mean, we've had MrBeast faking videos, having unsafe conditions for videos, scripting storylines, firing people for stupid reasons, being manipulative, but this is just wild, bro. The fact that you allegedly had someone that is a registered offender working for you, covered him up by making him wear a mask, is just simply outrageous to me. And I mean, that has to be criminal negligence at that point. And again, like Jake said, that is all alleged, but goddamn, MrBeast at this point just has to respond to this. There is just no way at this point that this can go unnoticed by the MrBeast team. So many MrBeast employees and former people that were around him are now exposing him, and like, this just has to be spoken about. Now, Jake then goes on to talk about his really eerie nickname that this guy had, and then says that there is pretty much no way Jimmy didn't know that this guy was an offender.
But when I was there, they called him Delaware. He's like, why do you call him Delaware? And I didn't know. Apparently they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware. That's his nickname? Colloquially? Like, yeah, it's Delaware. Don't ask him why, The fuck?
And Jimmy knew about it?
In likelihood that he didn't know
is astronomically low.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Jimmy, just wrap it up, bro. It is so over if this is all true. There is absolutely no getting out of this one. There's just so much we've seen so far that I can't believe it's all true, to be honest. If this is all true, this is stuff that seriously needs to be investigated. I seriously cannot believe that over 2 weeks ago, everyone loved MrBeast, and now we're talking about crazy stuff like this.
Also, yeah, just from where I'm sitting, it seems extremely unlikely that Jimmy wouldn't know, but, you know, I know that I'm sure that's the defense he'll go with, so I'll just say preemptively, like, you know, if somehow Jimmy didn't know about Delaware, I think it's still such an extreme level of negligence. Like, what, you're not doing background checks, everyone at your company knows, but somehow you don't know. I think that needs more of an explanation than just saying, I didn't know. Well, how didn't you know? How did this person get into the company and you know, a company that makes content for children and is around children? So yeah, Jimmy, I think we need an explanation from you or you know, your lawyers and PR people and representatives and spokespersons and on how you could have not known that there was an offender at a high level in your company.
I mean, he makes a really good point there. People will say, oh, you know, Jimmy's too busy to realize that there was an offender on his payroll. I mean, are you seriously not doing background checks, making sure that this guy is actually a decent human? You're a huge YouTube channel with millions of subscribers. Like, surely you make sure things aren't fishy, right? And the fact that everyone in his company knew about this as well, like, there's no way on the planet MrBeast didn't know and wasn't trying to cover up the facts. I mean, like this guy said right here, if he didn't know, then that's extreme negligence. So I mean, for everything in this video right now, either MrBeast is just straight up evil, or he's just completely negligent to anything that can negatively affect other people, which either way is really bad for Jimmy. People are now also alleging that this Delaware guy is Jake the Viking's brother-in-law. Jake the Viking is another former MrBeast member who I've talked about so much on this channel and has been very vocal about being against MrBeast in this whole thing. MrBeast allegedly has a S offender in his company who targeted a victim between 1 and 11 years old. Disgusting. And pretty much shows this guy Charles R. Jefferson. Now, again, this is all alleged. We don't know if this is true, but this is pretty bad. Chris Tyson gave us the hint. It's Jake the Viking's brother-in-law. Now, that is pretty bad right there. And then Jake apparently confirmed it himself. They are calling my brother-in-law / manager Delaware, and because that is his name. Now, this is all stuff that I don't really know too much about. I don't know if this is all true, but that's just another crazy thing to add on top of all this. So yeah, look, I would say that this is my last MrBeast video, but there's just so much more to come out about this. And again, Dogpack said that there will be a part 3 to this, and you can guarantee I'll be making a video on it when it comes out. Alright, so MrBeast just had more allegations come out against him. It seems like every 2 days now there's some new information that just makes this entire situation so much worse for Jimmy. And the funniest part is, there's still so much more to come out, and Jimmy hasn't responded to any of this as of yet. A YouTuber by the name of Ty Orr made a video called I Also Work for MrBeast, He's a Thief, referencing Dogpack 404, who's already made 2 huge videos about MrBeast, which goes over some serious accusations accusing him of stealing this random guy's work. Apparently he flew out to work for MrBeast, got there and did some work and never got paid for it. Then Jimmy stole this guy's work and used it for some of his videos. These, I just want to say right now, are all allegations, by the way. Like I've said for every one of these MrBeast videos that I've made so far, nothing is proven 100%, and obviously Jimmy hasn't responded, so it's best we wait for him to respond. But yeah, let's start by watching this Ty Orr video because I found it quite bad for Jimmy, to be honest with you.
February 2nd, 2024, I went snowboarding like I normally do, and I got an email in which I thought was a scam. I mean, for real, look at this. Even you would think the same thing if you got a random email saying MrBeast follow-up when you didn't even remember reaching out in the first place.
Okay, so here Ty's pretty much saying that he got some random email from MrBeast on February 2nd this year, 2024, saying that they reviewed his application and that they like to chat for him about, you know, potentially doing some full-time or contract work. Now, this guy Ty apparently already works and has worked for a bunch of other huge YouTubers like Jessa and currently works for MMG as an ideation and video editor guy, which, you know, is pretty standard in the YouTube business. You need people to be editing your videos and giving you video ideas. Pretty much then for the next couple of minutes, he goes on to show a bunch of proof with his actual Facebook account that he has real followers and, you know, people have commented on his stuff, just proving that he does actually work at MrBeast. Me personally, I think this is legit. However, obviously I'm not going to say it's 100% because MrBeast hasn't responded yet.
So in a nutshell, before we get into all the details, MrBeast gave me a fake job, flew me out there to work, I worked my butt off, took all my ideas, sent me home home and told me there wasn't a job available, and then proceeded to not only do that, but then to take my ideas still and then make a video. So that's what we're going to be covering here. I mean, we're talking about a billionaire here. If you know who MrBeast is, you know exactly what we're talking about. And I can hang up my editing tool set, whatever you want to call it, dude. All that stuff, I'm not even going to be editing for the guy. I'm going to be using my mata. I'm going to be making ideas for him to make videos. I swear to God, that's what my job is. It's not editing.
So I mean, these are some pretty serious allegations right off the rip, saying that MrBeast gave him a fake job, stole a bunch of his ideas, and flew him back home without paying him. And obviously the second part of the clip explains that, you know, Ty was hired as an ideas guy, pretty much meaning that his job was to give MrBeast video ideas, whether that be, you know, obviously video ideas for concepts in the videos. So for today's example, we're going to be using the one that he was allegedly scammed out of. In MrBeast's obstacle course video, which he uploaded in June, it was Ty's job to give ideas as what the sets should be and what obstacle courses should look like in the video.
For another email also on February 7th, 2024, this was directly right after the call I had with Hoodie, Dylan, and Kara, and within that conversation they basically told me that I needed to make a prompt. And when I say prompt, let me just read the email. Hello Ty, we would like for you to come in for a vibe check. Vibe check means you come in for a few days to see if you're good, see if you're a good worker, see, you know, people are not going to be annoyed by you, and see if they can move further on with the hiring process. If possible, we'd like for you to come in for 3 days at some point next week. I've got a recruiting coordinator, Leslie, CC'd on this email. She will help you figure out the days which you can make it and handle your travel arrangements. Now this is the most important email of all. What they want me to do is to do 2 video prompts. Attached, you will find 2 video prompts. Pick one that inspires you the most and document and write out how you envision it. Really let your creativity flow and assume everything is possible. So in each of these prompts, one of them is the world's most dangerous trap room and the other is 24 hours to spend $1 billion. I went with the world's most dangerous trap room, and then like we mentioned before, this is Leslie sending me an email. Thanks Ty, are you able to fly in on Tuesday, be on office Wednesday through Friday, and fly back out on Saturday morning? Of course I said yes, and she gave me all my travel info.
Okay, so pretty much if you're following along so far, he's been given a quote vibe check, whatever the hell that means. A bit of a weird name to be given, but I guess it's a YouTube channel, so I mean, I guess it's a bit hip with the kids, if you could say that. So pretty much he's got to go into MrBeast's headquarters, fly all the way across the country over to North Carolina, and do a bit of work. As well as that, he's got to choose between 2 concept prompts and make a video idea out of it. Now, he managed to do this task, obviously, that he was supposed to do, and the people essentially interviewing Ty liked what he was doing, so they then flew him out to North Carolina for their vibe check. Now, once he got to MrBeast's headquarters, that's when this story takes a pretty sour turn. But before that, there's some more explanation that this guy does about how MrBeast's headquarters actually work, and this is really important for later.
So let's break down the positions in the MrBeast company. You have C1. C1 is the head person of that department. So if you're in creative, you're C1. So creative, studio 1, C1. So there's creative studio 2, there's a C1 for that. Creative studio 3, there's a C1 for that. Then ideation, Studio 1, C1. Ideation, Studio 2, same thing. They're just levels. They're just like the head honcho of that department. And then within that, you also have a C2 and a C3. I assume C2 is like the person who are in between. And I know C3 is like the bitch of the company. They just write notes. They don't do anything. They just write notes. Whatever is said, they take notes. They take minutes and they write everything. They're like the grunts of that department. I went to this new room that Hoodie told me to go to, and there was 3 positions. Well, there was 2 positions at the time. I don't know where the third one's at. There was only a C3 and then a C2. I mean a C1. The C1's name was C. The C3, I mean, I talked to him for like 30 seconds. I don't know what his name was.
Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. This is pretty much saying that for each field in MrBeast's company, like thumbnails, ideation, video editing, whatever it is, there's different studios that are labeled, and there's a 1, 2, and 3 for each. The 1 is supposed to be the highest priority, and the 3 is the lowest. Now here's where things get really bad. So Ty was in the ideation field and was working on a video, and it was MrBeast's most dangerous obstacle course video, like I keep saying. In MrBeast's warehouse, there's these walls that you can draw on apparently, and this is actually true because I watched a Mr. Who's the Boss, MrBeast tour. Pretty much he toured MrBeast's whole entire studio, and it is actually true. They do have walls you can literally just draw on, and then you can erase them whenever you want, and that's going to be pretty important for this next bit. But now Ty goes on to explain what he actually did during these 3 days being at MrBeast's warehouse for this vibe check.
I got absolutely scammed by the biggest YouTuber in the entire world. This is where you're going to find out why I was upset. Now it's going to come full circle. I'm going to have to tell you everything. we're working on the video, World's Most Dangerous Obstacle Course, and I want to show some videos and proof of what I did. From here on out, I'm going to start speaking more theoretically so I don't get sued. So there may or may not have walls in the MrBeast studio where they're all dry erase marker where you can just write anything. So if you have an idea, you're like, oh crap, I don't want to forget it, right on the wall. This is a picture of my pitch that I wrote. So you see right here, you get really close. Bloodthirst. Let's see. Elevator. Let's even get close. Glass challenge right here. PT hallway. Sound familiar? It's my prompt. So this is what I pitched to Hoodie. This is what I pitched to Hoodie. And I didn't put my variations in there. I just put the ones that I wanted. And I verbally said my variations just in case they didn't like my original ones. Taking a look at this picture right here. So this was my idea here. I wanted to make an obstacle course in the air, but like somehow incorporate it with the Mario idea. Somehow just, I don't know, somehow do that. This is a picture that I drew for this pitch for this idea. And I realized that, you know what? I couldn't do the floating block, so I wanted to make sure I can do it another way. So I had an idea of a truss with 4 cranes holding it up, and I wanted to be able to go across it. That was just the first section of it. Because if you look a little bit more to the right of this picture, there's like a helicopter and a guy hanging from a ladder, and there's platforms down here, 1, 2, and 3. There's platforms right there. So I pitched this idea, and they absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. The only person who didn't like it was C1 because it wasn't her idea. So when it came down to our meeting later that day, so we were there for hours and hours and hours, and like I said, there's a hierarchy. There's MrBeast, Tyler, Jackson, the head writer, and Hoodie. Well, Jackson comes down there and we're having a meeting at 9 o'clock at night. The meeting goes all the way to midnight, and then they say at the very end, we're gonna need all hands on deck on this. We're gonna need the help. We're gonna need the creativity. We need everyone to pull their weight. Does anyone have anything that's gonna help us, with this? And I told them my idea. I brought up every single thing, not only just this idea, but the rest of the video. They loved it.
So yeah, pretty much Ty came up with all these ideas, and it seemed like the response he got from the head writers and, everyone testing him to see if he was good enough was a good response. It pretty much just seemed like this guy was a perfect fit from everything that's going on. And now you might be thinking, right, all those ideas that Ty brought up are pretty good and also pretty familiar. It almost seems like that they've already been used by MrBeast at some point. Maybe like, I don't know, a month or 2 ago.
All right, so at this point, I've pitched my idea. They love it. They've set a date, they set a location, and now they have a new renewed budget for this video, and everything's great. I'm so happy. I text all my friends, I call everyone, I'm like, yeah, dude, and also, so after all that, I'm feeling great. I got a verbal confirmation that I was good to go. Everything was perfect. I know about everything was literally perfect until I got home. And that's when everything started to happen. Unfortunately, we have decided not to move forward with your candidacy at this time. We really appreciate you coming out and vibing with us. We would consider you for a role like this in the future, but timing isn't quite right. And the rest are about receipts. So at first I was like, you know what? Maybe that's true. But then I started to think about it a little bit more. And I didn't want to let it bother me. So I said, hey Dylan, that's a bummer to hear, but I appreciate the opportunity. Maybe another time, like you said. Candidly, may I ask if I presented myself poorly or rubbed the crew wrongly in any way? Talking about here because I know I did. Also, I sent my receipts, and this was talking about my dog because I had spent like $400 for my dog to be boarded. Sent all that information. He said, hello Ty, you did not rub anyone the wrong way or present yourself poorly. We're going through some reorganization with the team and are limited on roles we have open for teams. I appreciate you sending a receipt, blah, 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 whatever. This is where I started to say, but I didn't say anything.
Okay, so I mean, that just kind of seems like a cover-up in my opinion. I don't really see a world where you bring this guy out, fly him all the way across the country. You've seen him do some great work and, give him some great ideas. You fly him home and then say, oh yeah, no, we've got no spots available for you. Sorry, bro. Like, surely if this guy was good enough at what he was doing, then you just hire him straight up. Seems very suspicious in my opinion. But now we move on, right? Because after this, Ty didn't respond to anything. Obviously, this all happened from, the start of February to the end of February. But now we move on a few months to June, where this video was posted by MrBeast. Apparently, these guys just completely ripped this guy's work off of him and didn't pay him for any of it.
I didn't say anything at all. Not a single word until I saw this on Twitter. Just uploaded the most insane video we've ever done. Go watch. Take a look at this picture. Take a good hard look at this picture. Does that remind you of anything you've seen so far? Does it remind you of anything you've seen remotely close to it? Or does it look like the exact same thing that I drew? The exact same thing that I pitched? everything. Do you want to know how much I got paid for that? Zero. I didn't get paid a single dime. This man, this company, his employees not only took the time to exploit me, to have me work for them under the false pretenses of a job that wasn't, you know, that they weren't available or able to give at the time, yet they had many people go in and out. On my second day, there was like a different group that I saw the day before, and then they were on their last day, and then on my last day there was a group of people that was their first day. You're trying to tell me you didn't have any positions at all, yet you had all those people, and not only did you do that, you used my idea. A lot of people would say, you know what, legally he had the right to do that. I don't know in what legal standpoint he could. I could be wrong, but let's think about this though. We're talking about a billionaire. We're talking about the world's biggest YouTuber. How is that so hard to just compensate for someone for some work? How hard is it to compensate someone for their ideas that made you millions and made me zero?
Okay, so yeah, all really good points there. And I mean, if this is true right now, that is just so scummy. I mean, firstly, this guy just proves that there is no way that the work wasn't good enough to work for MrBeast. I mean, this guy just provided MrBeast with hundreds of millions of views on this video. And then there's also the part that there were so many people doing vibe checks with him that there's just no way there wasn't enough spots to fill. So look, I'm pretty inclined to believe what this guy's saying straight off the rip, but also there's a chance that this guy could be fabricating this whole thing as a way to get clout off this MrBeast drama. Now, I personally don't believe that, but that also could be a possibility. And look, we are also still waiting for MrBeast to respond to everything, so I think it's important to wait for him. Now, some comments and things that I've been seeing which I really just don't understand about this video is the whole thing of like, oh, well, this guy didn't actually do that much work. All he's doing is giving this guy video ideas. And look, I feel like these people are coming from a place of just ignorance and not really understanding how YouTube works. For those that don't know how YouTube works and aren't YouTubers, I can tell you right now, as a YouTuber myself, the video idea is probably the most important part of a YouTube video. Without a video idea, you don't have a video, and without people giving you great video ideas, your videos are gonna flop. Look, people talk about the title and thumbnail of the video being the most important part, the video editing being the most important part, but bro, the most important part of a YouTube video, which determines its success by like tenfold to everything else, is the video idea itself. It is the most important part. And when you've got people working on that video idea and, you know, giving you ideas and all this sort of stuff, that is work. That is generating you revenue. So for MrBeast to allegedly just not pay this guy for a video that got, you know, nearly 200 million views, that's pretty despicable, and I'm pretty sure that that's borderline illegal as well. Like, I'm pretty sure if you've flown this guy out to do some work from you, there's got to be some sort of agreement in there where you just have to pay him, and there's no way around it. But yeah, look, again, like I always say, once MrBeast replies to this whole thing, you know, you can guarantee I'll be the first one to cover it on this channel. Alright, the new MrBeast situation is actually insane. For those that don't know, about 10 hours ago, MrBeast, KSI, and Logan Paul launched a brand new product, and people, I think at this point, have just had enough of these YouTubers, and specifically these three in particular, with making products that are genuinely just terrible for you and complete trash quality. So let's begin. Dexodo, the news site, tweeted this out about 10 hours ago. MrBeast, KSI, and Logan Paul are releasing Lunchly, a Lunchables competitor. It will feature Prime, Feastables chocolate, and a variation of food. And KSI backed this up with a tweet of his own, Lunchly baby, and it's just got a photo of him sitting there pulling his face, and you know, everyone's got Lunchlys and everyone's happy. Now, there are mixed opinions on this, right? Because when originally KSI and Logan Paul released Prime, when MrBeast launched Feastables and Beast Burger and everything like that, everyone was happy for these guys because obviously it's, you know, the first time that these YouTubers have actually gone into making products and becoming actual entrepreneurs. It was kind of like the first time YouTubers that actually branched out from something outside of YouTube and actually made their own products, which, you know, everyone thought was cool, including myself. So obviously people were happy for these guys. And this was a couple of years ago now. But I think now that especially that people like Logan Paul have been exposed for being a scammer, KSI really isn't much better himself. And now obviously MrBeast has a ton of allegations under his belt that he is yet to respond to. The trust for YouTubers, and especially these three people specifically, KSI, Logan Paul, and MrBeast, maybe KSI not so much, but he's definitely not perfect, has fallen so low that these people really just aren't having it anymore. And you might think that this is just a bunch of random people on Twitter talking bad about this new product, and you know, you might think it's just random accounts with 6 followers that have nothing better to do than sit here and complain about random YouTube products and YouTubers being richer than them. But no, it's not actually just these random Twitter accounts. It is huge creators with millions of subscribers that have seriously just had enough with this and are starting to really speak out about it. So here's Dan TDM. What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know any better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. Do better. And you know what, bro? I can't lie to you. As much as I want to sit here and defend these guys because they're YouTubers and, you know, I'm a YouTuber, so I want to sit here and defend KSI, Logan Paul, and MrBeast, I seriously just have to agree with Dan here. I mean, seriously, I can understand that you can't just promote complete healthy stuff all the time. They obviously have a business that they need to run. They've got YouTube channels they need to run, so they need to sell stuff that actually sells well, which unfortunately in today's landscape is unhealthy processed stuff. But god damn, bro, it is so obvious that they do not care one single bit anymore about actually making a product that helps people or improves people's lives in any way. They're literally just adding to the complete slop pile that already exists in the Western diet, simply because it makes them more money. They're adding to the crap that McDonald's and Coca-Cola and all these processed, chemically concocted, you know, products already exist on the internet and online and in the outside world. They're literally just adding to that now. They're not adding anything valuable, they're just adding to the complete slop that already exists. Like seriously, these are no longer YouTubers at this point. These are greedy CEOs that do not care about your health at all and don't care about what goes into their products as long as they taste good and are addicting to children. And you might be sitting here saying, oh, well, Glider Guy, companies do this all the time. Why aren't you angry at Coca-Cola or McDonald's or any other greedy corporation? That is a stupid argument, first of all. Obviously, McDonald's and Coca-Cola are also terrible. I've never denied that ever. The point that I and so many other YouTubers are sitting here and saying is that KSI, Logan Paul, and MrBeast are just selling out now and acting like greedy corporations that only care about profits and nothing else. Even if it's at the cost of making a garbage product with zero nutritional value and is completely aimed at kids. In fact, it's probably worse in MrBeast's case because he has an audience that is primarily kids. He knows that because he's got such a huge audience that they're gonna buy anything that their favorite YouTuber tells them to. It's the same for KSI and it's the same for Logan Paul, so I don't think I'm ruling them out either. You know, obviously MrBeast is the biggest one here, but KSI and Logan Paul are just as bad. Now, here we have Logan Paul's pathetic attempt at trying to justify why this product exists. Lunchly versus Lunchables, and you know, he does the lunchly.com, so you can go and buy this manufactured crap. So here we have Lunchly the pizza, which is, you know, it compares Lunchly versus Lunchables. So here we got the protein, 12 grams to 13 grams, calories 360 to 390, electrolytes, blah, blah, blah. And then we also have the turkey stackums, which I guess is another flavor that they've got, and they've got the same thing here. Now, this is where I seriously have a problem with this, and this is where I'm probably gonna start crashing out. Logan Paul isn't stupid, bro. He knows exactly what he's doing here. He's literally cherry picking certain parts of the nutrition label because he knows how stupid and dumb kids are and how stupid these kids' parents are, and he knows that they're gonna fall for this stupid crap sitting here saying, oh, well, I guess if Logan Paul's sitting here, you know, pointing out these nutrition facts, Lunchly is a healthier alternative to Lunchables, which, no, it isn't. Let me just tell you that right now. Don't fall for this crap, bro. This is not healthier than Lunchables. This absolutely doesn't paint the full picture of what Lunchlys actually have in them, and Logan Paul, being the businessman he is and athlete he is, 100% knows that. So let's start with the calories, right? We've got 230 compared to 310. That 80 calorie difference literally means nothing. I don't even know why that's mentioned. Secondly, we have the electrolytes being 400 to 55. Any parent or kid is going to look at that and think, oh my god, you know, that's so much healthier. I'm getting so many more electrolytes. It's already been proven that the formula for Prime is total crap. Prime shouldn't even be called a sports drink with how garbage it is for you and how little sports benefits it actually has. So the electrolyte crap you're seeing here means nothing. Now for the sugar, right? We have 7 grams to 21 grams. So, you know, any normal person is going to sit there and think, oh wow, that's great. Now again, this literally means nothing when Prime has an artificial sweetener list that is more manufactured than a pot plant from Temu. Sure, it has less actual sugar in it, but it doesn't matter when all of the sweeteners in the food is fake and manufactured. It is pretty much just as bad as actual sugar. Now, when it comes to the nutritional value of the two things here, please don't be fooled by Logan Paul's pathetic attempt at trying to justify all the numbers you see here. They literally mean nothing. This is just as bad, if not worse for you than an actual Lunchable. I know I seem like I'm really annoyed here, but I really just hate it when companies sell crap to children like this that benefits no one but themselves and their own pockets, and still sit here and try and justify it as like, oh, well, it's not that bad. I guess it's kind of healthy. No, it's not. It's complete crap. And it's even worse when it's these huge YouTubers that know exactly what they're doing because they have a huge audience. Little Timmy, when taking a bite of his Lunchly on the first day of school, and it's got some guy going to the hospital. And that is true, bro. I can't wait to see, you know, all the tweets and pictures of just kids ending up in the hospital because of this crap. Please, if you're a parent considering buying this for your kid because they've seen it on Twitter and you know, they're like, oh mummy, please buy Lunchleys for me. Please do not give into this crap. Do not buy your kids Lunchleys. This is complete crap. And now we have this video here, which I guess is just the promo which KSI, Logan Paul, and MrBeast are in.
We came together to create a Lunchables competitor featuring the fastest growing hydration beverage ever and the fastest growing candy ever. And so we did that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce you to Lunchly. Oh,
I smell so much diabetes and heart disease coming through the screen right now. I speak for everyone right now when I say, please pack it up and throw it away. We do not need this garbage. Jesus Christ. And to think a couple of years ago, there were these 3 people sitting here talking about making products that were better for you, talking about how America has a diet problem and that they want to fix it or whatever. Don't be fooled by that crap. Please understand right now that these guys do not care one bit about the obesity problem in America. They only care about money and profits. Now here we have another YouTuber called Squiddy. Why not teach kids healthy eating habits? They're comparing their product to Lunchables, which in itself is highly processed crap. None of them are passionate about health towards their fans, only their wallets. So disappointing. Could not have said it better myself, bro. Like, this is pretty much this all summed up in one tweet here. So yeah, bro, what do you think about Lunchly? Anyways, I'm done with these guys. Click the video on screen right now because YouTube thinks you'll enjoy it, and I'll see you all over there. Subscribe.